We look at things in this little microscope, we fail to realize where we're actually at in the grand scheme. And 100%, there's going to be a lot of people that are hurt. So they're irrational. Yeah. People are rushing to take advantage of, the last of the low interest rates. It's not the last of them. It's just, they're just going up, and then they'll go back down, and then they'll go back up, and they'll go back down. And that's just a cycle of how it works. But, you get this irrational fear of missing out. Then they watch one of the gurus online saying, oh, you got to buy multifamily. So they're out there rushing to buy these multifamilies, even though they're paying way high prices for it. They're just like, oh my God, I got to get my money into something because this inflation is going to chew my money up. It's losing value every day at 8.5% right now. Let me just stop you. That's the most irrational, nonsense, crazy shit I've ever heard in my life. Inflation. That people don't even understand it. They think inflation truly means that everything got more expensive. That's not what it means. It means when they print $5.1 trillion, we can't even fathom that. There's no mathematical calculator on earth that can fathom 5.1 trillion. So when they do that, where do you think that $5.1 trillion got its value from? Okay, now let's go over to the $100 that's in your pocket right here. You want me to show you? For every $100 they printed, your $100 did that. Mm-hmm. They printed 5.1 trillion, your $100, that's its value now. Mm-hmm. That's what it can buy. So back before they printed a lot of money, and this might not be to scale. So in all transparency, I'm not giving suggestions, recommendations, and this is just an example. If this is what you could buy before the pandemic when they printed 5.1, this was your purchasing power. Mm-hmm. This is your purchasing power today. Your dollars became worth less, which means it takes more of this to buy the bag of groceries, the strawberries. That's all inflation is.
Yeah, higher prices are just the visible manifestations, the symptom, not the cause.
So that creates a whole bunch of irrational decisions because the media has done a fantastic job of scaring the shit out of everybody, telling everybody, oh my God, your dollars are losing value. You're going to have to do something. And people make irrational decisions. They take what is a short-term problem. Inflation, just for the record, is a short-term problem. It always has been, always will be. Year, 2 years, even back in the late 70s and 80s. Like, it was a couple-year inflation run. Did it hurt? Yeah, it sucked. But it was short-term in grand scheme. Okay. But what we want to do and what people are making the mistake of doing is they're taking this short-term problem and they're going out and trying to fix it with long-term solutions. Putting money in index funds, okay? Putting money in these vehicles that are going to hopefully, hypothetically grow at a faster pace than inflation is growing.
Right.
Never thinking that in a year from now, inflation might go from 8.5 to where the Fed wants it at 3.
Right.
And then now you're invested in all these things. And guess what happened when the Fed got that rate down to 3, Matt? To do that, and this is history proves this, what do they have to do to get inflation back down to 3%?
Good. Well, they have to raise rates.
Dude, they got to bring the house down. They got to destroy the stock market and they got to destroy the economy. Because right now, like when we look at it, the Fed's raised rates a couple times already at higher pace than anyone could have dreamed. They've also begun spinning off their balance sheet, which is unwinding the balance sheet, selling bonds into the open market, sucks liquidity out. Then what people don't know, because the news will never cover this, they went to all the banks. Banks have tons of money in surplus. And how does a bank make money? You make a deposit, they lend that money out, they make a spread, right?
Right.
But what if banks no longer have to lend money out? What if they don't have to take any risk to lend you and your business any money?
Okay.
That's exactly what's happening right now. The banks don't have to lend money because the Fed, who's trying to stop inflation, slow it down, I should say, said to the banks, hey, any surplus money you have, just give it to us. And we'll pay you an overnight rate. We'll pay you an interest rate on that money. And you don't have to do anything. So the banks are like, you printed all this money and just gave it to us to put into the economy. And now you don't want it into the economy because you want to slow things down. And now all we got to do is just give it to you and you're going to pay us what we would have made lending it out. Sweet.
Okay.
Banks don't need your money anymore. Why do you think this is logical, folks? Like we're talking about irrational, emotional based decisions. Now let me give you some logic. When you went to the bank last time, what's the bank paying you on your savings and checking account? Matt, what are they paying you?
It's so ridiculously low. It's a spin-off of zero.
Most people would just say it's zero, right?
Yeah.
How can it be zero when the Fed's raised interest rates, the amount of times that they have and will continue to? Why would interest rates on your savings and checking not have gone up?
Okay.
Because they don't need your money. And they're not going to incentivize you to give them your money because they don't need it. You see, like that's a problem.
Yeah. So they're not adjusting the incentives because they don't need more deposits.
Money, but the news will never cover that.
That's interesting.
Now let's get back to we got logic. So that just makes logical sense. Now let's get back to irrational. People are rushing out, buying cars, boats, planes, everything, all because they just think that their cash is going to be worth nothing because of inflation. In a year from now, 2 years from now, inflation will be back down to normal levels. But to do that, the Fed will have destroyed the stock market where you put all your money thinking, oh, this is the only option I have. Risky assets to beat that inflation. Now your risky assets are worth 50% less. How'd that work out for you? Or you bought that car that you thought was only going to keep going up in value because, hey, for the first time in bloody history ever, your used car is worth more than what you paid for it. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations. This will be the first and only time in your life that ever happens.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean,
hopefully.
It's just insanity. But that's what you did. You went out and you put your money in something that is going to depreciate, not appreciate. So this is the decisions people are making. And it is completely eroding their ability ever to control their wealth. And the other thing that's the scariest thing, and then we're going to tie it back to what you said, is all these decisions people are making right now will eliminate one of the most important things they should be planning for. And that is the biggest opportunity of their lifetime. When this whole thing falls apart, I study history way too much. It's the only reason I know this. When it all falls apart, I want you to envision walking into Walmart. And as soon as you walk in, it says biggest sale ever. I don't know why I'm picking on Walmart, but biggest sale ever. And you walk in, the first thing you see is marked off 80%. Like, whoa, they must have put the good stuff out front. You get to the back of the store, everything's 90% off. And you're like, holy shit. Well, all right, I need a bunch of stuff.
Right.
So you fill the shopping cart up and you're going and over the loudspeaker, they say, the rollback specials end in 30 minutes. So you load up even more. You're like, oh my God, this is going to end. You get up to the register and you go to get your wallet and you're like, where's my wallet? Oh my God, I forgot my wallet. What just happened? You just missed an opportunity to save 80, 90% because of the rollback.
Right.
Okay, so now take that. It's the same thing that's going to happen in the stock market.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that's going to happen in the whole economy, maybe even worldwide. Everything's going to go on sale. But unfortunately, you forgot your wallet because you took advantage or you bought into the bullshit conformity that they want you to, where you just thought your dollars are going to be not worth nothing. So you went out and you spent all your dollars. You put all your dollars in places that you're not in control of, places that you can't get the money. And now the biggest sale of your lifetime just hit and you forgot your wallet. Folks, like, how?
Yeah.
Can you not understand the logic behind that? Because that's what's going to happen. But then you got the people saying, oh, the stock market's not going to go down. It's going to keep going up. Just don't watch this podcast anymore. We can't talk. We can't be friends. We're never going to be friends. Just go do what you do. And I don't even know what to say to that. It's just so
you think we have one big leg down in the stock market, at least, right?
And people will think I'm absolutely crazy. So I don't care where you look at the markets. I know the levels of the markets. What you will see when this really happens is you will see another 60 to as much as 80% drop in the stock market. Oh, there's no way it can go down that much. Oh, no? Charts say absolutely positively that will happen.
Yeah.
And then, people are saying, oh, well, no, the government will just print more money. They can't.
God, I hope not.
Yes. There's the Inflation Reduction Act. We don't have time to get into that. But the Inflation Reduction Act, that is the most irrational thing I've ever seen in my life. There is not one thing, at least that I know of. I haven't read the whole bill. But if somebody can please tell me anywhere in that bill, what anything in there, one thing, that's all I want to know is what one thing in that bill is going to reduce your inflation. Nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, 87,000 IRS agents. You know who they're coming after? Most people would say, well, yeah, they're going to go after the wealthy. No, they're not. The wealthy do nothing.
They can try.
They're not going to, because they have the teams, the attorneys, the CPAs, the profession. They'll fight it for years. And then the IRS will waste all this money and get nothing. The IRS wants to make money. So who do they go after? Look in the mirror. You. And who are you? I don't know. But if you make less than 400,000, they told you they're not going to raise your taxes. Bullshit. Inflation is a hidden tax. They raised that, didn't they?
Yeah.
The IRS agents are coming after you. They're not going after Elon Musk. They're not going after Trump. Well, maybe, but that's for totally different reasons. They're not going after the wealthy.
Yeah.
They're going after you because you are an easy target and they will get your money whether you want it or not.